Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is your tropical update for July 2nd. We're currently watching Major Hurricane Beryl, which made its way to Category 5 intensity overnight last night into this morning and is now back down to a Category 4 hurricane. We'll talk about some of that here in a second. Invest 96L now has a low chance of formation within the next 7 days, and that's the only other thing that we're watching. If we shift to the impact map here, you'll see not many changes. In fact, the only change from yesterday is the removal of the Lesser Antilles, as I told you guys was going to happen, in the upgrade of Jamaica from high back to significant like it was a couple days ago. We're now expecting a very close call, if not a landfall, to the island of Jamaica, which will in fact bring potentially major hurricane force winds to the area as well as increased storm surge. We're also monitoring the potential that Beryl makes four hurricane strength landfalls. The first one earlier on the northern island of the country of Grenada, potentially Jamaica, that'll be number two, potentially the Yucatan, that would be number three, and number four, potentially on the Mexico or Texas coastlines. And the odds that hits Texas are increasing. We'll talk about that here shortly. Here's the latest satellite image of Beryl. As you can see, the effects of shear are impacting the system. If you look on the left-hand side of your screen, especially to the south side of the storm, you can begin to see the effects of shear. Nonetheless, the inner core is still there with the tiny eye, and so it continues. So we're up from yesterday, down from its peak of 165 miles per hour. Now we're now down to 155 miles per hour. Hurricane warnings in effect for Jamaica, Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and Cayman Brac, as well as tropical storm warning for the continued area of southwestern Hispaniola, and a hurricane watch now in effect for the Haitian area under that same tropical storm warning. I have re-added Jamaica to that major hurricane alert section. As mentioned, we could potentially see a landfalling major hurricane in Jamaica. As you can see, that is now explicitly, or at least to the south side, called for in the model guidance. I'll talk more about that here in a second. I will show the spaghetti models. I normally don't, but I will. Also, one more thing, as you can see, Texas is now in the cone for potential impacts as a strong tropical storm on Sunday or Monday. We do have some new records with Beryl. Yesterday, it made it to 155 miles per hour, and it still is there. That became the earliest 155-mile-an-hour hurricane in history, behind Hurricane Emily in 2005. It's the 11th 155-mile-an-hour hurricane in the Eastern Caribbean during the satellite era. That's ever in the satellite era, the 11th hurricane ever, and also the southernmost 150-mile-an-hour storm. I believe it probably also has the title of the southernmost 155, 160, and 165 mile per hour storm at that. It would, by definition. But I mean, unless it gained latitude. It was gaining latitude pretty quickly, and that's why Jamaica's back in the mix here. In terms of Category 5 hurricanes, it is the earliest Category 5 hurricane on record, behind Emily, once again in 2005. It's only the 41st Category 5 that we've ever seen in history, the 12th Category 5 in the Eastern Caribbean in history, in the 9th 165 mile per hour hurricane in the Eastern Caribbean. So again, it's also the earliest 165 mile an hour hurricane, behind Hurricane Allen of 1980. That's breaking a 44-year-old record with Allen there. So, in the earliest by nearly 2 months. I mean, over 2 months. Or a month in a few days. Sorry, a month and a few days. Anyways, moving on to the spaghetti models, as we can see here, there's a few outliers that we need to just disregard. The pink and the orange, we can disregard. Some of the blues might be a reasonable scenario that this thing stays as a Category 1 hurricane even as it begins to weaken. Again, the reason this is weakening is due to shear. The models take it to the south side. The models that are further south, away from the island of Jamaica, keep this storm as a stronger storm. Again, look at those blue-colored models on both charts here. And then take a look at our other models, which bring this down into tropical storm strength and then back up to a borderline tropical storm or hurricane by the time we get to about 120 hours from now. And that's when the system is just off the coast of either Mexico or Texas, beginning to make landfall on one of those areas. The models seem to have started to shift in the direction that is more concerning for Texas. And so we'll continue to monitor that, especially in South Texas, but even Central Texas. Again, as I mentioned several days ago, this could parallel the coast for quite some time, potentially a day or longer. And so we'll need to monitor that very, very closely. Again, it's going to rocket across here this time tomorrow. It's going to be on or just south of the island of Jamaica. 2 days from now, 2.5 days from now, rather, making landfall in the Yucatan. And then as we get to 5 to 7 days from now, again, depending on how long or if it moves to the north, impacting Texas and Mexico. As we can see from the Weather Prediction Center, we're looking at a widespread area of 8 to 12 inches of rain, especially in those higher mountainous areas and those areas closest to the center of the storm. Again, that's mainly Jamaica and southern Haiti, southwestern Haiti. Associated with this tropical storm force winds likely to begin on Jamaica Wednesday morning. That is tomorrow morning. So those preparations need to be rushed to completion this evening, and that needs to be done now. I mean, the odds of a direct impact are increasing. If not, still the northern eye wall will affect it, and significant rain, storm surge, I believe, of the amount of 5 to 8 feet of storm surge possible. Storm surge also possible in Haiti, potentially even portions of Cuba as well. Then after that, our focus will shift to the Yucatan. We're still learning more about. We have to see where it goes and how where it goes with respect to Jamaica. If it goes over Jamaica, that should disrupt it more, and so it'll be weaker when it hits the Yucatan. If it goes just to the south of Jamaica, that'll actually make the system potentially stronger. I mean, it'll still be weakening, but it'd be stronger than what it would be otherwise when it hits the Yucatan. Again, preparations there need to be done by tomorrow, as we're expecting impacts by midday Thursday with tropical storm force winds. Here's Invest 96L. The only thing I'll say on that is 20% chance of formation within the next 7 days. Not really looking great, but still a little bit of convection associated with the system. And so we'll continue to monitor it. Could, again, bring some rain to those Lesser Antilles, which had already been affected by Beryl. That's all for now. Chris Sixon, Info Weather Media.